Arcadiology, episode 31, featuring Prop Cycle. Join us as we uncover artifacts from the arcades. My name is Brad. My co-hosts are Sky.
Hello.
Kyle.
Saw dudes.
And the number one Pokemon TCG Pocket Superfan, Jordan.
Oh, we're not gonna have to talk about that, are we?
Well, I mean, why not?
Sounds
It's
like
your
we
favorite
are.
game.
Because it's awful.
I think you need to explain to everyone that we can't be friends anymore because you hate.
That's all Jordan's been. That's all he's been talking about in our text messages, man. He won't shut up about that Pokemon game.
Brad's acting like this is such a great game. It is not.
It's not a great game. It's a decent game. It's a fun little time killer. Most of it I've been messing around with a little bit. I mean, actually, I've been playing a ton of games this week. I'm not going to be able to go over them all, but I mean, I could probably fill out a whole episode talking about them. But the Pokemon TCG Pocket, I've definitely been getting in on. It's fun just to hop in. You know, they give you like 2 packs a day. You can just open them up, give you 10 cards for free. You just see what you get. They have like little binders you can customize and see, you know, just set it up like you're a little kid collecting cards and stuff. And they have a super simplified version of the battling, but I've been having fun just messing around with that. And no one else hopped into it yet?
No,
I have not.
I haven't.
I was considering it. You were talking it up, and it seems like it's more like a collection based, like the game kind of. The battle's kind of like a afterthought, I guess. I don't know.
It feels a little 50-50. Originally, I only wanted to get in just to collect them. I was like, because I heard other people talking about it. I was like, I don't really know if I'm going to be into it. I'm just going to hop in just because, you know how these kind of games work. If you don't get in right away, then you're just missing days, basically. Like, you could be getting more cards and stuff. It's like, I'm just going to hop in, open a couple packs if I'm into it, and then I'll check it out. And then as I started doing that, then I started building decks and playing some matches, and it's actually a lot of fun. So, I don't know. I think it's worth checking out at least.
See, like, I just want to play the actual card game, but it's a little too dumbed down and simplified for me. And I think just the aspect of collecting the cards just like digitally, like, hey, I have all these cards just on this app. That just doesn't really appeal to me. I just want to play the actual card game. I mean, I still think they could absolutely just make the real card game work great on a mobile game. I mean, they made it work for Game Boy Color pretty well way back in the day. I'm sure they can make a good... Did you say there's an actual card game app, like of an actual version of the real game or something? Because I might look into that if that's a thing.
There used to be.
Oh, is it no longer available or what?
No, man. I don't know what they were thinking. I used to play it. It was fun. It was like actually Pokemon. I think it was just called a Pokemon trading card game online. That's all it was. Like, you go in, you can do the same thing. You can get packs and all that, collect stuff, build decks. They had like certain structure decks you could unlock. But it was pretty much just Pokemon, like the full game. I have no idea why they got rid of it. As soon as they did that, I was like, well, I'm not going to play another Pokemon game unless they have one like this.
See, but like also the power scaling in the game just got absolutely ridiculous. And if I'm gonna play the card game, I just want to play with the first few sets. You know, like the base set, the Jungle Fossil, maybe some of the Neo sets in Gen 2. I just want to play with those old cards where, you know, the good Pokemon had like 80 HP and did like 50 damage or something. Now it's like, oh, I'm gonna play this Charizard EX Ultra Mega G-Max and it has 727 HP, and it's like, what? Like, what happened? I can't even use my old cards anymore.
Yeah, if you don't keep up with that stuff, like jumping into it's like, what is all this stuff? Actually, when
Smart for business, but
I remember we played that at Brad's house. Remember, I think Eli had some like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And he wanted to play me. Like, I picked like random stuff. It was just like a random assortment of cards you guys had. But like, whatever he picked, dude, he picked like all the craziest stuff, and he just stomped me in like 2 turns. I was like, when did Pokemon have like 400 HP? What is this?
Yeah.
I was expecting some like Bulbasaur versus Meowth or something.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Super Mewtwo VMAX X GX. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
just one shot and everything.
I'm like, dude, we're doing a rematch. We're rematching, and I want to use that deck.
I still have all my old cards. Like I have like a deck for every type. I have a whole freaking crate of cards and decks and whatnot, and I'm always down. Anytime someone wants to play the old original version of the TCG, I'll bust that out, and we will play. I'm ready to go. And like I said earlier, I'll play the hell out of the Game Boy Color game of that still. I still think that's so much fun, just to get like the fix every now and then.
Sky, you said you think they shut that other one down. I feel like, how can they do that? They're still selling packs today that have like the QR codes that you can scan and like get packs online. So how's that work?
Unless they brought it back, but as far as I knew, like they just got rid of it. Like I don't know. I tried to log in one day, it was gone, and I looked it up, and they said they took it offline. Unless it came back, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at least, I mean, Eli kind of stopped collecting them. He still has a bunch of cards. We have like, I swear, like 6 pages full of those QR codes that you can scan in because he never played it online. I feel wonder if they're just
Yeah.
like dead now, or if you can still use them somewhere.
Let me see. I'm reading right here. It was shut down last year in June.
Oh, maybe they are just obsolete then. They're just dead.
I don't know, dude. If you look it up, I don't know. Nothing they have now even compares to how good that game was. I don't know why they did that. I think they're trying to force people into like a new game, but it's not anywhere near as good as that one was. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just obviously dumbed it down, so it's just super simple. So matches are like over in like 10 minutes. Because a lot of people on mobile aren't going to be sitting there for like an hour trying to play a match. You know what I mean?
Well, even still, this one was like you could play it on PC. Like I don't know what their PC replacement was, but I know everybody was pretty salty about that.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
It was a pretty fun game. I didn't really play Pokemon a whole lot. Like even back in the day, like we didn't really play. We just collected the cards because they look cool.
Yeah,
But like that's the only time I ever actually played Pokemon was when I found that app.
they took it away from you.
Yep, I got it for a little bit. Had
I'm
my
bringing
fun.
my decks over. I'm bringing my decks over, Sky. We're gonna hop into it.
I don't even see why they need to dumb it down anyway. Pokemon was never even like a complex game to begin with. It's like the simplest
Yeah.
one out of all the card games.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think they could easily make the actual. I understand the idea of like, well, maybe not everyone wants to sit there and play the whole way through a whole game. I mean, I don't think it'd be maybe if like you just like limit everyone's turn like a minute, minute and a half or something. I think you could still get through a normal basic game at a good pace.
It's like the most random card game too. I feel like it's like the less skillful out of all the card games, but it's still like super fun for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
Still
for
it's still
sure.
fun to play it.
Yeah, they all got some luck involved. That you just gotta take your chances and hope you get the right thing at the right time.
A lot of coin flips.
Yeah. Well, since no one else is playing Pokemon, what else are you guys playing then?
Well, guy, mine's gonna be. Mine could get in depth, so
Let me get mine out of the way then, because
get it in there.
mine's not going to be nearly as crazy as yours. Like last episode, I'm still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. That's been my main game lately. I jumped in. I think I said before, like my decks were all like a couple of years old because I haven't touched the game for a while. So I tried using some of them, and obviously they were all obsolete, so I got stumped. But then they have a new box out, and most of the cards you need for like a really good deck are in this one like mini box you can buy stuff out of. Like use your gems that you collect. So I made one of the newer free to play decks, which is it's crazy that it's free because it absolutely wrecks, and I'm doing way better than I've ever done before with any of my other decks. So yeah, I've been rocking that. It's called the Unchained. That's like the whole archetype for the deck, and they're pretty crazy. So I've just been trying to climb up the ladder on those.
How long is a match in that game roughly?
Oh, well, with this, I mean, with a lot of decks that are like high tier, I mean, you can have them over really fast. This deck being free to play is surprisingly like amazing, and I don't even know how many times, but I've won on my first turn so many times with this deck.
On your first
What?
turn?
How's
Yeah,
that
the-
possible?
because this deck is super consistent, and it like usually in like games when you discard stuff, like some games like if it's discarded, that's gone, you don't use it. Yu-Gi-Oh like does all kinds of crazy stuff, so a lot of decks play out of the discard pile. So like the Unchained deck, their whole thing is they want you to destroy their cards because every time their cards get destroyed, you can pull stuff out of your deck as like a response to that. And certain cards can also pull those discarded cards out of the discard pile. So you're constantly recycling your cards and like flooding your board with monsters. So like if somebody goes first, you can't attack on the first turn. So they'll set their board up or whatever. And if I'm going second, I get a decent hand. I can just bust out like a full combo on my first turn in the game and pretty much destroy everything and like go for the win.
That's insane.
It doesn't always happen, but it's happened often enough to where I'm like, yeah, this deck's crazy. I imagine they would nerf it at some point, or they'll probably just power creep it out and something else will wreck it. But then there's been games where I'd play for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or whatever, because the other guy has a crazy deck where he's, you know what I mean, summoning all kinds of stuff and doing all these combos. We're going back and forth. So it can last anywhere from like a minute and kill him like my first turn, or I can go on for like 15, 20 minutes.
That's still not too bad for like a 20-minute match.
No, that's decent. It's pretty intense back and forth.
What? This is on PC?
You can play it on PC. They actually have it on Steam. I didn't know that. I'd been playing it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you didn't want to play that kind of stuff on your phone, you can definitely get it on Steam. But it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, if anybody wants to scope it out.
Somebody go play Sky.
Let's go.
So, unfortunately, I am not playing the mobile version of a card game. Sorry to let the rest of you guys down. Apparently, I'm out of
come on.
the circle here. And I don't have a very fun answer because I very much intended to have all kinds of different things I played over the last 2 weeks. Just some diversity here. And guys, I'm still just playing Fire Emblem. Every time I pick up my Steam Deck, every time I have some time to myself, that's all I've been playing, man. I'm so ready to finally have my little completionist thing that I'm working on done and over with, and have all the characters maxed out and whatnot. So I've just been playing that nonstop. I swear this is like the only game I've ever played where as soon as I beat it, I'm so ready and excited to just start it over again right from the beginning and play it nonstop. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. And I feel like there's not a whole lot more to really say about it because I'm pretty sure I've talked about Radiant Dawn on at least half of our episodes at this point.
I have one question though. Once you do completely beat it with every character, are you ever going to play it again?
Yeah, I'll absolutely play it again, but I'm not gonna like end it and immediately start a new game like I have been the last few times. I'll give it some time.
Probably one you pick up every couple months or every year, do a playthrough.
Yeah, for sure.
Just got to get that completion run done so you get it under your belt and that's off the list.
I just want to show off for all the other Fire Emblem fans in this Facebook group I'm on. Like, look at this, I beat it with every character. Check it out.
Nice.
Is that like a rare thing that most people don't do?
I mean, I don't think anyone would really necessarily care to do it. So, I mean, I think they'll see it and be like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, actually. It is, like I said before, it is also probably, like, if not the hardest, definitely one of the hardest Fire Emblem games that was released in the West. So I think for a lot of people, they, if they're not, like, super, super good at it, they might look at that and be like, wow, that's actually, like, kind of impressive that he beat this game with every character, even the ones that most people consider kind of crappy. So it's not like it's a thing people really try to do, but I don't know. It's just it's something I just randomly decided I wanted to do after like my third playthrough. I'm like, you know what? Let's just use it.
Now here's the real question. Once you complete it and you've beaten the game with every character, then the next challenge for you is you somehow have to get like a tattoo that like represents your completion.
Oh.
Man, I swear, you get a few tattoos, and everybody out there is like, you should get a tattoo of this thing.
Wait,
It's like your most played game.
People
dude.
are always giving me ideas, man.
Serious question. Do you have a Fire Emblem tattoo? I never noticed.
No, I do not.
Out of all the stuff you play and talk about, I thought you would have one.
As far as gaming tattoos, I just have a bunch of Pokemon ones and that Zelda one. I think that's...
Man, well, I don't know why Fire Emblem saw it on you, bro.
What I'm saying.
Maybe we'll do that then. Maybe after I beat it the last time, I'll think of something to put on there. Why not? Just for you guys.
I thought Kyle was going to say after you beat it with every character, you have to go through and lose with every character.
That sounds like something he would say.
No, come on.
I thought that's what he was setting up.
I've turned a new leaf, guys. I'm being constructive.
Yeah, that will last 5 minutes. That's about it for me. Kyle, if you want to tell us all about whatever it is you're doing, you seem excited and ready to talk about it.
I am. We don't have to get super in depth. I'm still pretty new to this, so I know there's like a million things I don't know yet. And anybody else that's played this game previously is probably gonna be like, how are you just now finding this? But I'm playing a game called Project Zomboid. So it's a zombie like sandbox survival game, which I had no idea. It came out in 2013.
Oh wow.
So this game's it's like been around forever. And I think it's like widely considered one of the best zombie games ever made. They kind of took like a hyper realistic approach to the game, like as much as they could, as much as like makes sense to do, I guess, without it being like crazy monotonous. But the art style initially, when I seen it, I was like, I don't know about this. Like I immediately was like, probably not gonna play that. To me, it gave me like almost like a Sims kind of look to it, which like isn't my thing. But then I was like, let me give it a shot. Let me check some videos out. I watched some stuff on it, and then like all of a sudden I found myself, I was like watching like hours of this game, like of people playing it, and I've never even played the game before. So it took me a little bit to kind of like get used to it, but then I started playing it, and as you guys know, as we all do, right? We all play some pretty hard games every now and then, and I like to think that I'm pretty decent at most of the games I play, and this Project Zomboid, dude, like I wasn't surviving like a couple of hours of like in-game time before I was dying. I couldn't understand. I was like, well, how is this game so hard? Like, they don't hold your hand at all. They don't really explain too much to you. And there's like crazy in-depth systems that like you just don't know until you put like hundreds of hours into the game. Luckily, YouTube exists now, so I can look some of that stuff up to make it easier. But you go in and like you're just trying to, survive, obviously. But everything's like, there's like so much intricacies to like all the systems that like every time like you log in and start playing, you're like, you find something new that you're like, that like could have helped you out, like 4 or 5 playthroughs ago. And you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I could do this the entire time. And like that, it's kind of like an unlock. And you're like, okay, now I know this. Like I can do this. And then like you'll get on the next day and you'll be like, oh wait, you're telling me I could do this instead of like this. So it just gets like every day it gets crazier. So obviously I'm playing solo right now. I did play multiplayer just for a very short time with a couple other friends. I think it's probably way funner on multiplayer, but solo play is you should probably start solo and just kind of like figure some things out on your own before you hop into multiplayer with other people. It'll probably just go smoother. But I don't know. I don't want to like explain the entire game to you guys. If you like zombie survival games, you should check it out. Anybody else that's been alive probably knows about the game already. So
Yeah, I've never even heard of it, so this is news to me as well.
Yeah,
dude, I'm telling you, you should at least check out some videos on it and see what you think. Like you have to. I don't know what you guys are gonna feel about the initial graphics. I know I did not like it, but if you can like get past that for a minute and just like look at the game and see like kind of the systems and what's going on and what people are doing, then like I think it'll have a better chance of you actually wanting to play it.
I don't know if
Once you're
realize
in it,
who you're talking to, but I think the three of us are pretty we don't really care about the graphics on a lot of games.
I was gonna say I'm like out of all of us, I think I'm the one that cares the most about graphics. So if I can get past that, you guys are probably fine.
Sounds pretty fun. I don't know if you were streaming it, right? Do you do that much on that game?
I was just kind of doing it before the pod started. So like if any of you guys got there early, we could just hang out. But
Okay.
I mean, I could stream it after the pod, before the next pod, whatever. Anytime I play it, I could pop it on.
I'll at least hop in and watch it for a bit and see how I feel about it first.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of like really cool things. Like I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of stuff you're like, how do they even like? I can give you like one example of just something like weird in the game that's like you wouldn't expect to be there, but it is. Like if you get into a vehicle, all the vehicles either have a chance to be locked or they might be unlocked. There might be the key in the vehicle already. There might not be. You might have to try to find it. You may never find it. So there's all kinds of like just random things to it. But if you get into a car, once you're inside the car, you have like a radial. You can bring up a radial menu, right? So you can, when you're in the driver's seat, you can hop over to the passenger seat without getting out of the car, and then you can hop into the back seat passenger or the back seat driver. So you have the 4 seats, and if you're in the car, you can move around to each one of them without getting out, like you would do in a real car. Now, one of the weird, just like random things they did is if you end up getting into a police car, it actually changes because they took into account the barrier that's between the front seats and the back seats to like keep people that are like under arrest in the back. So if you get into a police car, you can go from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, but you can't get into the back seats unless you get out of the car and actually go to the back doors.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just systems like that. Like that's just one tiny small example, but it's like that everywhere throughout the whole game, throughout all the systems, like these little things in it that you're like, oh wow, I can't believe they actually like, no, I wouldn't even have thought of that. If they didn't put it in the game, nobody would have been like, oh, I can't believe we're allowed to get into the back seat. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't even think of it, but they like, it's little things like that they thought of. And also I guess the biggest selling point on this I should mention, since it's so old, it's like 2013, there's like thousands upon thousands of mods for the game. So you can get on and download any mods that you want and customize the game and like basically play it any way you want to play it. You can add all kinds of different clothing packs and vehicle packs, and like you can change like pretty much the way the entire game plays and add all kinds of different things to it. Someone actually just I don't know if it's recent, but I think it is kind of recent, maybe within this year though. They did The Last of Us. Have you guys watched that?
Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
So they did like a Last of Us theme. And so when you get into the game, if you download like that mod, it's like the entire game is different. Like the map, the way everything looks, it looks like The Last of Us, and like they even like have the like the clickers and like kind of the zombie types and stuff from The Last of Us.
That's pretty awesome. Mods always take stuff to the next level.
Yeah, I mean you could play this game, 1,000 times, and it could be different every time because you could just change mods around.
I remember talking to you about that at work the other night. Like, there was quite a few different in-depth things you were telling me about. I was like, what? They actually thought of that and put that in there?
Yeah, there's just so much, dude. There's so much to it. But we could check it out if you guys want to look at it later. We'll run through a couple minutes of it.
Yeah,
We'll just look at it. Just have a little look at it.
Have a look.
Just look at that.
Just look at that. Would you
Anyways,
look at it?
Just take a look at
I
it.
just want to thank all the viewers for joining my Project Zomboid podcast. See you guys next week.
All Zomboid all the time.
All right. Well, I think that's you guys ready to move into our main game here then?
Yes, sir.
If you guys want, or I could keep talking about Project Zomboid.
Just keep on going.
Oh, yeah.
It's up to
Yo,
you.
B, hold up with that arcadiology crap. Wait up.
Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah, man, what's up with these zombies?
They're dead.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, B, you're
Aw.
up.
All right. With that being said, let's pedal on into prop cycle. Released in the arcades in 1996, it's a 3D game where you fly on a bike and run into balloons to pop them, and the balloons give you different amounts of points the values are indicated on them. The stages have a score threshold that you have to meet to progress to the next stage. If you don't meet that, then they lower the score and you have to try again until you beat it. And the actual arcade machine has a bike that you sit on, and it has pedals. Like, it looks like the bike your character's using in the game, but you have to actually pedal to speed up your character. And it has like a handlebar, so you got to kind of like lean left and right and really control it. But of course, we didn't have that. We just played with controllers here. But Scott, since you're the one that picked this game, I'm assuming you looked into it. You already knew about how the actual arcade worked.
No, I didn't know anything about
No.
it. I just thought it looked cool.
Okay, you didn't look into it at all. Then you didn't know anything about the whole bike.
I did afterwards. Yeah, I didn't. When I chose the game, I was like, oh, it's like a flying game. It's different than everything we played so far. So I was like, we'll just try that out. But then I checked out the arcade machine afterwards. I was like, whoa, this thing had like a whole setup going for it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I thought this was going to be played with like a joystick and like, I don't know, like a roller ball or something, or two joysticks.
Yeah.
It's way different than I thought.
How do you think it played using an actual controller? You have any problems with it?
Not really, no. It felt decent. I mean, it was weird getting used to the speed up, because you can speed up and slow down on it. So like sometimes if you're going too fast and you try to turn, like, I don't know, the turning sometimes is just super, super weird. Then if you slow down too much, I think your thing just drops out of the sky, so you have to keep some speed going. It wasn't too bad though. It was definitely hard to get used to.
Yeah, pretty simple, straightforward, and short game. So it didn't take long to get through once you figured out what's going on.
Yeah, surprised it was there's only like 4 stages.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think it's after the fact, like when I researched it and saw the machine, I'm like, all right, it's probably so short because, I mean, who's going to sit there and pedal for 3 hours playing like 20 stages?
Yeah, that's exactly
like
what I was
you
thinking.
physically need to turn the wheel, and physically, there's like bike pedals on it. So like you're actually sitting there riding a bike, keeping this thing flying in the game. So after 4 stages, you're probably done playing that.
Well, might come as a shock, but that's actually exactly how I played it, guys.
Busted out
He's
the
got
pedals.
a setup.
I just happened to have it
You
laying
found it.
around.
Yeah, up to this point, we've whether intentionally or not, we avoided any like racing, light gun games, or things that like have a special peripheral. So this is like the first one, I feel like, other than maybe like Zybots, how you had to turn the stick, but that was kind of a pretty simple adjustment there. This is the first one I feel like it's actually significantly different than playing in an arcade.
Mm-hmm. I would love to try the original version of it. I think
Oh,
that would
yeah.
actually be a lot of fun.
Yeah, did you think this was fun though, just playing with the controller, or not really?
Honestly, yeah. I thought it was actually still kind of enjoyable to play. I feel like it controlled fairly well, and it's very different from anything we played. It's not some kind of just side scroller or anything of the sort. You're kind of just, it's like Star Fox whenever you're in all range mode. You can just kind of fly around wherever you want, and I thought that was kind of neat. It was fun, and even with a controller, it still felt like it controlled pretty solid.
Yeah, I played it mostly on my Steam Deck, but then I also did a run on the arcade just to see. it was a little harder to control, but it was kind of fun using like a joystick. I feel like if you had like a, what are they calling it, like a flight stick that they use for like simulators and stuff like that. I feel like that would be a pretty decent way to actually play this game. But it felt a little cooler doing it that way than actually on a just like a regular controller.
Yeah, I thought with the joystick on the controller, it felt pretty solid. I think this is the only game we've played so far that I've actually used a joystick on my controller instead of the D-pad. Not counting like ones I've played on the actual arcade cabinet itself, of course.
Right, right. Well, as we said, this is a super short game. There's two different modes. There's a novice and advanced mode. Everyone did the advanced mode, correct? When we actually played through this.
Yes.
Yep.
Did anyone mess with the novice mode at all, or you just go straight to advanced and that was it?
Nah, I just did what we had to
straight
do.
to it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the novice mode, it was only just a single stage and it's over. I think it might have been set up a little different. I didn't really get in there and mess with it much. But even when the advanced mode, just 4 stages. I mean, I think that my first playthrough probably took me like 15, 20 minutes maybe to actually beat the game.
Oh yeah, it was super short.
Yeah, like 15-ish minutes at the most.
And like Scott was saying, if you're actually playing in the arcade, that's probably about right because you don't want to just be sitting there pedaling all day.
This is
That would have felt too long.
This is the
Yeah.
government's way of keeping kids in shape.
Probably.
Making them exercise.
Was this released in Japan? I assume it's a Japanese game, right?
I think so.
So they're usually more creative and like conscious about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're not obese.
Yeah.
As far as like controlling it, the only thing that I felt was a little, or there were probably like 2 issues I had. One, trying to turn, like your guy, you have to take super wide turns. If you try to turn, you got to like come way out and around. If you just try to turn quickly,
Yeah.
you're not gonna make it in time.
It did kind of seem to me though, like if you were accelerating and going faster, he would turn sharper.
So it was based on your momentum.
That's what it felt like to me.
Still felt like regardless, it was a little wide, but maybe you might be right in that. It might depend on how fast you're actually moving.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like when you turn, like, I don't know, I felt like if I was going super fast and I wanted to turn to the right and I put the stick the whole way to the right, I feel like I should have cut like sharp right.
Yeah,
But it did seem a little bit wider than it would feel like. Like I felt like I was gonna cut like right to the side of my screen, but it takes a couple seconds for it to turn. That's what kind of threw me off, and like you'd miss a bloom by a little bit. And then usually I just skip it and be like, never mind, because it's going to take me 10 seconds to loop around and try to get it again.
right. Yeah, you just have to bypass it and hope you have enough balloons further up ahead that'll finish it out.
Yeah.
My other gripe with it is if you hit something, like you're just like to a dead stop, like it's kind of hard to recover, especially if you're trying to like turn and you like hit a rock or like the side of your bike clips something and you're like at a dead stop, or that kind of like almost flings you the opposite direction, and it's like, man, the balloon's right there and I can't reach it, and I got to try to figure out how to turn around with these huge wide turns. That was a little tricky.
Yeah, dude.
What I will say about that is I kind of assumed going into this game that it was going to be like if you crashed into something, then you lost and you had to pump more coins in to continue. But I'm glad that was not the case. It was just if you bump into something, you get disoriented for a while and then you just keep pedaling.
There was definitely one of the caves. I can't remember what level it was, 2 or 3. You go into the cave and it has like there's a couple like pillars inside of it, and I hit those one time, dude, and like I got like the stunned animation, and so my guy hit it, he got stunned, so you couldn't like control anything, and so it just shot me into the next pillar, and I got stunned again, and I just like spent like 15 seconds in this cave trying to get unstunned.
Yeah, it really makes your controls wonky whenever you're trying to recover.
Yeah.
Hey, any of you guys seen Kyle? He borrowed my prop cycle like 15 minutes ago. He's just in the
cave,
cave
dude.
bouncing around.
Smashing up all the walls. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I thought the music was pretty good in this game, especially how it like kind of went with the stage. How Kyle was saying, there's a cave you go into, then after you come out of the cave, you go into like this open area. Then like the music like swells, it like changes with it. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
It's like dynamically like changing music depending on where you're at.
So my normal website where I find these games did not have any trace of this game at all. So I Googled it and found another website where I could just play this right on the browser. And for some reason, I checked all the settings and the browser just didn't have any audio. So whenever I played it silently. I'm very glad, however, that I went back and watched the video and heard the voice acting for this game. Because, good lord, the main character's voice is not even remotely close to how he should sound.
Not what you expected when you went back and watched
Not
it.
at Oh, like this is what, maybe like a teenage boy, like maybe like a 15, 16-year-old boy. And I'm pretty sure the voice actor is like a 7-year-old girl.
That's just like Gohan or something from Dragon Ball Z, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, at
Same
least
deal.
I'm pretty sure that was a female voice actor for Gohan, but at least she
Yeah.
tried to make it sound like a little boy or something.
This game reminded me a little bit of like Diddy Kong Racing when you do like in the plane, like the flying stages.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of gave me that vibes a little bit. I mean, I feel like this game even looks like an N64 game. I feel like this could have been on that system, no problem.
It kind of reminded me of like Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's another good
Yeah.
pull.
This felt like it could have been like came out around the same time, like on PlayStation or something. Like I felt like I was playing Spyro when I was playing this game. Like all the flying portions are cool.
Yeah, this game is just Diddy Kong Racing without the Indian elephant genie.
Taj, that's my guy. Can't forget about him. I'm curious if I didn't actually see this when I was playing, but when I was watching some videos on it, while you're flying around, apparently you can pull up a map of like the level and see where the balloons are. Did any of you guys figure that out?
I did
No,
do
dude.
it on accident, I think once. I don't
Okay.
know if I don't know. I mean, maybe you know from watching whatever you watched, but like, can you just do that at any time, like regardless, or like? Because I thought I was trying it and like maybe it wasn't letting me do it on like my first time on the stage. But then like maybe after you failed it or something, you could do toggle the map. I don't know. 'Cause I remember like finding it once and then like sometimes it would work and sometimes I couldn't get it up.
I couldn't figure out how it actually worked at all. I tried going into settings, map and stuff, and nothing I did seemed to allow me to pull the map up during the game.
I only saw it at the end of the levels. I didn't know you could actually just bring that up and look at it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. I was only able to find one button for this whole game, and that was just the acceleration button. I mean, okay, technically, I found another button, but that wasn't for the game. The website I was using, if you press L3 on my PS5 controller, it would bring up a menu, and I cannot tell you how many times I pressed that on accident. But that doesn't count. That's different.
Yeah, Sky was saying he saw the map like after the stage ended. I thought that was kind of cool too. How once you finish a stage, it shows you the map of it, and it like traces a line through the whole map, showing like where you went, all the balloons you got. So that made it kind of a little easier if you failed the stage. You can kind of see like certain sections where you need to circle back to that you were missing like most of the balloons and stuff.
Yeah, I actually thought that was really cool too. That would show you your exact like the path that you took, so you can kind of say, like, okay, I went here and this I got all these balloons. That was good, but then I took a turn here where I shouldn't have take because it was like led me to no balloons.
Yeah, you can definitely use that to your advantage if you map it out the next time you go through and kind of think it out. Jordan, you said you only used one button, so you were only accelerating. You didn't have a deceleration button.
No, I only noticed the one button doing anything just to accelerate, and then if I had to slow back down, I just let go of the button, and he'd just slow back down to normal speed.
Yeah, I think I did the same. I
Same
didn't
thing?
actually use a decelerate. I just let go of the accelerate, and I think it after a couple seconds, it would slowly spin itself down.
Yep.
Sky, what did you do? Was there a deceleration button for you, or am I making this up?
Yeah, mine was. I didn't map it. It was like whatever was auto mapped is what I used. But like
Okay.
my right joystick, if I push it to the left, I accelerated. If I push it to the right, I decelerate.
Okay.
Just left and right, pretty much, to speed up and slow down. Worked out pretty nice.
So I feel like that'd be a little awkward. I feel like you'd want it up and down though, but either way,
Yeah,
at least
I
you
don't
had,
know.
had the options there.
That's just how it was. I played it. I
Yeah.
got used to it.
I mean, I played on my Xbox controller, and my accelerate was the right trigger.
Okay. Yeah, and at least you just have to hold it in. I mean, obviously in the real one you have to keep on pedaling, but this you don't. At least you don't have to like keep pressing it or something. You can just hold it in and it speeds it up. So that wasn't bad.
I'm gonna get build my own little rig of it. It's gonna be like little finger pedals. So I'm just gonna like use my two fingers to like walk to speed up.
Love it.
Little mini version of it.
You could maybe somehow connect it into one of those like tech bikes where there's the pedals.
Yeah.
You put your fingers on the two pedals on the bike.
Wire it up.
Yeah.
Get a little finger workout. That'll probably help with my my ollies on my tech deck.
Oh, don't get Brad started.
Oh yeah.
Get some buff fingertips, boy.
Well, one thing we got to go over is the story to this game. It doesn't look like there's much there. But did you guys
Oh,
let it play through
dude.
and look at that at all?
Dude, if you look at the Wikipedia page, I swear to God they had to have made all this up because they have like a novel of the plot for this game, and I could not find it anywhere in this game.
There's a little bit in like the attract
A
mode if you
little
let the
bit.
arcade play. But yeah, it was I was looking into it as well, and like the developers released like a thing on it with the whole story. So I got a little summary here at least.
Go for it.
All right, so it's 200 years prior to like when you're actually playing the game. This is where like the story begins. There was a war.
This gets
and
ridiculous.
yeah, the civilization was destroyed by a Tesla bomb, and it kind of like destroyed the environment and messed everything up, and everything. It's like steep hills and valleys everywhere. So they ended up inventing the flying pedal bike thing that we were flying around on, and so that's how they were living. And then someone found this altar, the sacred altar, and they touched it. And when that happened, it fired lightning at these villages and cut them into different shapes, and they just started floating into the sky. So that I don't know why, what was going on there. So it turns out that the altar was actually a weapon, and there's these red energy balls floating around it, around the raised villages. And so what the objective is, you have to destroy all of those, and if you destroy them in a time limit, everything will sink back down and the villages will go back to normal. And if you fail, you get zapped by lightning and die pretty much. So that's the story that's going on here. Didn't you guys pick that up while you're playing?
Not
Dude,
while I was playing, no.
Not
Yeah, definitely
not
not.
to that extent. No.
Bits and pieces between, like you just see the
Yeah.
dude fixing his bike
Yeah.
up, saying they gotta save, whatever.
A little bit,
But,
not that whole thing.
And I guess apparently the 3 levels that we play, like the final level's the 4th level, but the first 3 apparently are just training exercises because they're trying to train you to hit all the balloons on the last level or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So this is all of our levels we're playing. That's just them training, or our guy training to go up there and like hit all those red
Yeah.
energy balls and save everybody. So I thought that was interesting. We're just on one big like training mission.
That's what I thought. Like, I didn't look at the story thing at all, so I didn't know anything about it. But when I got to the finals, like the first 3 stages, I didn't really know. I just thought we were doing whatever for no reason. And then when we got to the final stage, then I thought like, okay, I thought this was like a tournament, you know what I mean, or like something like that. And I thought like then I thought, okay, the first 3 were like, I think it was my guy practicing for this tournament so he could win this tournament or whatever. And so like that's kind of the way that I thought it was.
That probably would have been make more sense for the story than what it actually was.
Don't forget to mention the islands or the villages, or whatever, got cut into perfect sun and moon shapes somehow, and
Yes.
a star also.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
I like how they softly imply that everyone who's previously attempted to save these floating islands has failed and possibly died, but this dude's family is so chill about him going and doing it.
They're all like goofy and happy and laughing. It's like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, you go to Solitar tomorrow and no one's ever come back.
Good luck, son.
Have fun.
That's my boy.
yeah, I don't think Grandpa's taking this serious enough. He's like, just do your best. That's all you can do. It's like, dude, if I don't do this, I'm gonna die. Like, what do you mean? That's all
Don't
I
die,
can do?
buddy.
When he said that too, it seemed like he would just make a fun of him or something, like
Yeah.
because when he's like trying to fix his bike or whatever, he's like pulling the wrench trying to tighten something, and he like flies back and drops the wrench. He just like, do your best.
Don't get struck by lightning.
He pretty much is like, can't even use a wrench, dumbass.
Okay, you know, I'm like, I'd never come back from this, right? He's just like, all right, I'll see you later.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah, I'm
man.
not sure if Grandpa understands that if you die, you get zapped by like thousands of volts of electricity, and then your lifeless body just tumbles into the canyon. It's like, just do your best, little buddy.
To be fair, back in his day, he got struck by lightning uphill both ways.
Oh my
no.
god.
Oh, man.
We didn't have these little prop cycles like you kids have these days. We had to walk on foot up to the floating islands.
Can we also talk about how he gets up to the floating islands?
I don't even know if I know. I assumed he uses prop cycle.
He gets shot up there with a giant slingshot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I wonder what's going on in the times that no one's up there trying to destroy those. Like, it's fine, but if someone comes up, as soon as he launches on that slingshot, the timer starts and it's gonna shoot you down, I guess. Because otherwise, everyone seems fine. They're just in the village floating in the sky. I mean, like, that couldn't be the worst thing, right?
Nah, man, I just let it go. Like,
Ah,
whatever.
Yeah, just pedal up.
Life's cool right now, man.
Apparently, they've survived that way for 200 years. So
Yeah.
We got these cool little prop cycle things. Like, I'm good, man. We can fly. Who cares what's up on that
I mean,
island?
what happens whenever they run out of resources? Gotta be hard
Get
to
on
get
your
to the
bike and
grocery store up there.
Pedal on down.
Yeah, that is true. So why? Who cares? Just let them stay up there. It does sound pretty cool.
And also, where are the rules to this thing? Like, why do I gotta do it alone? You guys can't help me? Like, we
Right.
get like 6 of us. We can get these things easy.
They go, somebody's got to die. He goes, send my dumb grandson. Send him. Get him out of here. If he fails, whatever. If he succeeds, win-win. It doesn't matter.
Well, this is a pretty simple, straightforward game. You just fly around and hit balloons, get the score, and move to the next level. I don't know if you guys got much else to say about it. Anything we missed you wanted to bring up?
One of the only things I wanted to talk about is whenever you get to the end where you where it shows you the high scores and like you enter your name and whatnot. You know how like whenever like an arcade, like before you put coins in an arcade, it's just like scrolling through. It shows you all the names and high scores that are on there, and every now and then we'll have like just the ones that came with the system itself.
Right.
There was already a Jun on there, a Jun.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
So someone took my name before I could get it, man. To be fair, one of the people though in the credits is named like Junichi or something, so it's probably that guy.
Actually, the credits were pretty cool, too.
Oh yeah, it has the little guys like dancing around beside their
Yeah.
names.
It looks like they took, like, pictures of somebody, like 3 different pictures of somebody waving, like their hands in different spots, and then they just, like, made a sprite out of that and, like, animated their body. I don't know, it's really weird looking. It's like they're sprites, but they're not.
Man, we haven't seen real people in these games since Biomechanical Toy with that creepy picture.
Or JJ Squawkers, that man on the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. I don't want to ever think about that guy again.
Jordan sees that guy in his nightmares still.
Ooh, I see him in the corner of my room.
Did anybody not beat the final stage in one go?
No, dude, it's so easy.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
they
it
were
was-
pretty generous on the time.
Yeah.
My best time on that, I still have 40 seconds left, and it gives you like 90 or something. Like, it was
Yeah.
only half the amount of time. It's probably, I would say of the 4, it's probably the second easiest stage.
Oh, one of the cool things is once you beat it, like the main menu, like when it goes back to like insert coin for the like, next person to play, it does like a replay of like your run on that last stage. That's kind of cool. Just like playing in the background for like the attract mode for
Oh.
someone else to watch. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but it says like recording or something, I think, when you're actually flying around on that or something like that. And it actually records it for the menu.
I was gonna bring that up because I know it, like the last level, it says recording. I'm like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
I didn't see that throughout the whole game. I didn't realize it actually puts that on the menu. That's cool. I think it's also cool you can pick which level you want to do, like the 3 stages in any order.
Did you guys just go 1, 2, 3 right in order, or did you mix it up?
I only mixed it up once, but that was only because I wanted to do the hardest one first, just so I knew if I messed it up, I could start over. But then I realized that that's not how it works. It's just whatever one you pick first has the lowest score threshold.
Yeah, they scale it, so whatever one you do last is pretty much gonna be the hardest. I did them backwards when I did it a second time just to see as well.
I think I did the third one, then maybe the first and the second. I just randomly picked them.
What's up with the guy that's like, I guess, training you? You see him in like the red bomber jacket, but he has like, I don't know, he has like blades that go around his neck that like he flies like that.
I don't know what that guy's deal is.
Like, what's up with that guy? He could have
Yeah,
done
When the
this.
level starts.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, I want that thing, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just like these 4 like blades, like fan blades around his neck that spin in a circle.
And they're like
Somehow it doesn't
automatic.
cut his head off. Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't want to sit here and tire my legs out, and I'm like 2,000 feet, and then just fall because I'm too tired to pedal.
Yeah, send that guy up there.
Yeah, but he could have got it done.
Give me these neck blades, man. The only thing worst thing that happens to him is it trims his mustache.
Yeah.
He just flies off too, like, hey, good luck. Like, why don't you go up? Wait, where are you going?
Well, anything else, guys?
Did we mention that some of the balloons are like you have to get a certain amount of points, and each balloon has certain point values on them, like 100, 100, or 50, or 200. So you don't have to get all the balloons; you just have to get enough balloons to equal whatever the total score is. But there's also balloons that add time because you are timed while you're doing this. So
Yeah.
there are balloons that will give you like plus 10 seconds or like plus 20 seconds that don't actually add to your score, but it just gives you more time to get to the balloons that do.
Yeah, on some of the stages that seemed essential. Like if you don't hit some of those extra second ones, you're not gonna have enough time to clear the stage.
Yeah, I think for sure you definitely had to get at least like one that gave you like plus 10 or 20.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had times where I was like, the screen like starts to like fade to white whenever it's over, and it's like as it was happening, I got the seconds and it started counting back up. It was like just in the very last second it still counted. So
Ooh,
you can catch a clutch balloon if you time it.
makes it real intense.
Yeah. Yeah, the one time I was playing on the arcade, I was saying like with the actual like It's different than a joystick. It's like an arcade stick. So I was using that, and like I hit the one balloon. You guys probably know the one stage I'm talking about. It's like inside like a circular stone thing, so it's kind of really hard to get to. But I
Yeah.
just like rammed right into it, and my character just like fell down through and popped it. And
Yeah, I
then
know
I
what you
turned,
mean.
and then you turn around, and then there's another balloon that's like super low to the ground by the water. So I'm like dive bombing straight in. And it's like I don't know, it was felt a little immersive there. I was getting into it, like I was like pulling back on the stick at the last second. I like just clipped it and made it back up. It felt crazy. I guess it'd be get like a fan blowing so you know really get immersed in the game.
It's like in a movie or something.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. Like I said, if you get like a flight stick that they use for like Microsoft Flight Simulator stuff like that, that would be kind of cool.
Dude's playing Prop Cycle in 4D.
He's really feeling it, man. You're gonna crash, Brad. He goes, "Not today." Yeah, he's just so into it.
Someone triggers the Top Gun theme song.
Oh my God. He just highway to the. B's got the fan blowing on him and everything.
It was a fun game. That was a fun game. Got to get into it. Makes it even better.
I also like how they're generous with if you do lose, it'll lower the point value. You have to put more tokens in, but it'll lower the point value that you need to get to the level. So if you just keep losing, eventually you're going to get through it because you're going to pop like a handful of balloons to win it.
Feels bad for you.
Yeah, you pay them enough money, you're gonna win no
Yeah.
matter what.
So far, that's the first game we played that was like that's generous and wants you to beat the game. So
Yeah, keep making it easier.
it's like the least greedy game we've played so far.
This sounds like a terrible game to buy for your arcade then, because first of all, with the bike peripheral, it probably costs a ton of money, and it doesn't cost that much to play because it's not hard to beat.
Might just be the fun factor. It probably just looks
Yeah.
awesome.
It's probably not making you much money not much return on your investment.
Or just, I mean, if there are people that really like it, even if they beat it quick, if people are constantly playing it, you know what I mean? They're still racking up. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the case, but you know.
I mean, the game seems easy, but again, I think we keep forgetting that you have to sit on a bike and pedal this whole time. So I don't know how
Yeah.
many people are getting tired after this 2 stages or something if you don't beat it first try every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just pedaling, you gotta like the way you gotta steer it too.
Yeah.
I guess it does take multiple coins too for continue. Because to start the
Right.
game, you have to put in 4.
Yeah, that's a dollar
then-
right there.
And then what continues are
Yeah.
2, aren't they?
Right.
So it makes a little bit of money. If you lose once or twice, they're probably making out all right.
Helps a little bit, yeah. We have to find somewhere that actually has this actual arcade game and play.
Oh,
the
I'd
real
love to
version,
play
because
it.
I have to, man. I have to now.
And on the real version, how like the handlebars, they're like metal. So on the last stage when you lose and you get shocked, you actually zaps your hands.
Really?
And then the chair ejects you and flies you across the room.
Oh, get out of here, man! I actually,
He had
I
us in
thought
the first half.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought maybe it was like one of those like arcade machines where like
Oh
it
my
vibrates so fast that it feels like it's shocking you.
That would be cool.
And if you don't beat the last stage, no one ever sees you again.
Yep, just
Oh,
launches you
no.
straight through the wall.
Oh man, I thought he was serious with that little zap at the beginning. I'm not gonna.
So
lie.
did I, man. I thought maybe it just vibrated real fast or something.
And he's talking about getting ejected out the arcade. Like what?
It's pretty convincing there, huh?
Well done, B. Well done.
Oh, also, I'm pretty sure I read that it has like a working speedometer in the bike as well, which is kind of neat.
Check your
Okay.
calories and all that stuff. Check your heart rate.
I don't know if you're going that far, but
Little exercise bike.
that's what the Apple Watch is for. Just put one of those on.
Anything else, guys?
I think we've talked about this way more than I expected we even would be able to.
Yeah, that might be it, dude.
I think we covered just about everything.
Yeah, I think we talk longer than it takes to beat the game for sure.
3 times
Oh,
over.
yeah, 5 times maybe.
One thing I didn't realize, like on the first level when I was playing it, obviously I only played this game one time, so I thought when I was starting it that I had to get the points, and then I had to get to like the end. Like I thought there was like an exit or you know what I mean, like a finish line or something. So I remember like flying around on the first stage, like looking like where do I win at? Like where's the thing? I didn't realize it just ended once you got the points.
It has like arrows like pointing you in the right direction, I guess. But I mean, it's not really a
Yeah, but it
direction. You
doesn't,
just
like-
kind of go wherever you want.
Yeah, it doesn't point you like to the balloons, which is what you need to win. So it's just like pointing you like to like get around, like navigate through things. So yeah, I was definitely confused.
Yeah, like sometimes it'd pop up an arrow would be saying wrong way. I'm like, what do you mean wrong way? This is like free roam.
Yeah.
There is no wrong way.
Like at first, there's a certain path it wants you to take, and then at the end of the stage, there's kind of a big wide open area that's just a big free for all.
I think they're assuming like that you were good enough to get the balloons, so they're like, what are you doing? You already got that balloon. Get out of here. Like, no, dude, I missed that one. I got to circle around for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, bro, wrong way. You should have got that already. Go.
All right, I think we covered this enough. Let's move into our number segment then.
All right.
And we all did beat this game, we established, right? So we can get that out of the way. We all beat the 4th stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really struggled. I didn't get past the first level, boys. Nah.
Dude.
All right, let's see how many credits took us to actually finish it then. We'll just count continues. I mean, I can do like the conversions if that's easier for like the actual spreadsheet so we can see how much money it would actually taken us to beat it and stuff. But you guys just counted like continues, right?
Yes.
Alrighty. Sky, how many continues did it take you? We'll just call it credits just to keep it consistent. How many credits did it take you?
I failed one time on level 3, and so I used one more continue, so 2 total.
Okay. Kyle?
I started the game. I beat the first stage without losing. I had to continue one time on the second stage, I think. No, 2 times. Continued 2 times on the second stage. Continued 3 times on the third stage.
Okay, so we'll count that as 6.
Yeah.
And Jordan?
Oh, dude, 1 credit, baby.
Did you?
Nice.
See
Yes,
this
sir.
one.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Did you play this a good bit?
I did 3 attempts. First one was 3, second one was 2, and third one was 1.
Nice.
Well done.
I even kept track of my score for each one, just in case we ever wanted to talk about that. But I know we're just focused on credits. But yeah, final run was just a 1 credit run here.
Very nice. Took me 3 credits to finish it. I think I beat the first one. Well, I did them backwards. So I beat the first one, no losses. Second one, no losses. And then the last one messed me up a little bit. So had to continue twice there.
Yeah, I just barely cleared that third stage on my 1 credit run. I got 2,020 points out of the 2,000 that you need.
Did you tally your overall score then, since you were talking about that? It's like the ending.
Yeah. So if I'll even just run through each one real quick here. The first stage I was 1,800 out of 1,000. Then I was 1,800 out of the 1,500 you need, and then 2020 out of 2,000. And final stage I had 21 seconds left, and my final score was 10,375.
Nice, bro.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't do my individual, but I did just take a screenshot of my ending. I had 8,930. So,
Ooh.
yeah, you crushed it. Jordan crushed it.
My final was
Nice.
8,975.
Oh, wow, right there.
We were like at the same score on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the third level, I think I just barely missed the score. I think I had to do like a wide turn and I couldn't get a balloon. So I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I needed like 1 or 2 more and I just couldn't make it in time.
There was a few you had to make the turn kind of just right, and you knew if you missed it, you might be in trouble. You might not have enough time to come back to it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move into our rating. And if I counted correctly,
Wait, what about Kyle's?
Oh, think Kyle kept his score?
Oh, I didn't keep my score. It was like 8,000 something.
Oh, the final score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I figured he didn't even care. He just ended it and shut it off, and that was it. But for the rating this time, I went with the total balloons out of all the stages, and there were a total, well, including the red orbs at the end, so like all the things you have to run into. There's a total of 89, so we're rating out of 89 today. I think this was a tough one because you can't completely ignore like the main feature, like with the actual bike and everything that you sit on, but we also didn't get to use it, so it's kind of hard to factor in,
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would make me like it more or less. You know what I mean? It sounds a lot cooler and more immersive, but then again, if I was on it, and I was pedaling like crazy for like 15-20 minutes trying to play this game, I might not like it as much.
I don't think it takes a lot of pedaling though, because a lot of the time when I'm playing, you kind of do it a little bit, then just kind of coast. Because if you go too
You have
fast,
to be an Olympic cyclist.
cruising the whole time.
Lance Armstrong has this game in his basement.
Oh, man.
It's like smoke coming out of the pedals.
Well, I'm giving this a decently high score. I'm going with 62 out of 89. It's not my favorite game we played, but I just feel like with the actual bike, it would be a lot more fun. It didn't really do anything that was annoying. There wasn't anything that wasn't manageable. And that seems like kind of a high bar these days with these arcade games. I don't know. Some of these games are like super annoying. It just kind of ruins the experience, but nothing too bad. The music transitions I thought were pretty cool. I was talking about that earlier, and that wax story was pretty funny. So Yeah, I was into this game a bit.
Yeah, I think I could toss this thing a solid 50.
All right.
I mean, the game was fine. It's a little bit of fun. I don't know how much, like, it seems like it's short with the 3 stages, but like I really don't know how many more stages I would feel like playing of it, because it's like I feel like after you've done the first couple stages, you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I got it. Like
Yeah.
just get the balloons, and then if I don't get it, you're gonna make it easier till I get it. So it's kind of like I don't know how many more stages I actually want to play, but I thought it was fun. It was simple, like you said. There was no kind of jankiness to it really. The map thing I thought was really cool, like how they, afterwards it shows you your flight path. Thought that was just a cool little detail they had to it to help you plan out for your next run if you were gonna do one. Um, the story, I guess I didn't really know much about it. It seems crazy, but yeah, I don't know. And I think if you were playing it with the actual setup, I think it would be probably actually funner to do it that way. I think it would be cool to have like a group of people, and like I'm sure it's harder to do it on that thing than it is with my controller. So it might actually be like slightly more difficult. So we'll hit him with a 50.
Yeah, I was gonna more or less say the same thing Kyle just said there, where I think with the actual bike peripheral, it would be far more fun, but I think it would certainly be much harder. Like, I don't expect me to one token this game doing actual pedaling and steering and whatnot, but yeah, I do think it'd be more fun, but even with just the controller, I still think it's an enjoyable game. This is kind of one of those games where it's kind of like what me and Kyle said about Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon a few weeks ago. It's kind of something you can just sit with and play through really quick just to kind of waste time. It is a very fast game, like we said, maybe 15 minutes or so at most. I feel like a lot of the games we played, there's been a lot of times where I'm like, this game is really dragging. It's really taking a long time, and I kind of want it to be over. And I appreciate whenever we find, or sorry, I appreciate whenever we find a game like this
There
that's
you go.
nice and quick and short, and we can get through it nice and fast. And I think the fact that it was short made it more fun to me personally. But I actually I was looking up what 70% was, and I ended up with the same score as Brad. So I'm gonna give it 62 out of
Okay.
89.
All right, Scott leaves you.
I think I'm gonna give it a. I'm about where you guys are. I'm gonna do a 60.
Okay.
I like how it actually it cuts you some slack. Like if you're sucking at the game, it'll help you a little bit and lower the points so you can actually see the whole. You know what I mean? All the levels and stuff. I think this game would have been cool, like on a console with some more stuff, kind of like Spyro. Like I could see like that flying part just being like certain missions, and then actual whatever doing stuff on the ground, like village stuff and all that. Talking to your grandfather that hates you, that kind of stuff. No, it was cool.
I feel like what would be cool if this was on like a modern console. Most controllers have like the gyroscope kind of thing or whatever it's called in them now, so you could actually kind of at least do the steering that way. Maybe not the
Yeah.
pedaling, but that'd be kind of neat to do it like that too.
It also had the classic secret waterfall cave, so that was pretty cool too. We didn't talk about
Yes.
that.
Yeah, it did.
First thing you do in a game, you see a waterfall, you fly into it because there's something.
You
behind
get through it. Yep.
But yeah, that's cool. Like the dynamic, like music, depending on where you're at, it'll change. So that was pretty neat. I don't think any game we played so far has done that. And the fact that if you just like the free roaming flying was cool. Like if somebody didn't care about the balloons and they just wanted to check it out, you just fly around for a minute and scope it out, whatever. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool game. Way different than everything we've done so far, so it's pretty unique.
Alrighty, well, we all seem pretty decent passing score on this one, I feel like. So we'll see how it lands among what we got 30 games on the list now that we played. So everyone pull up our list here and see where we want to slot it in.
Boy, this is a weird one.
Yeah, it's tough to do. Right off the bat, I'm thinking around like 16 or so, but I'll let you guys go from there.
I'm not
Like
far away
in
from
the
that.
in
Okay.
the middle-ish.
Yeah.
I was thinking around there, 16, 17, maybe 18, I don't know.
It's a very hard one to. It's like we all gave it a pretty good score here, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like it's so different than any game we've played.
Yeah, it doesn't really. A lot of the games on here, well, some of the games do compare to each other, but this game really doesn't have anything in common with any of these other games yet.
Mhm.
It's like the only game of its kind we've played.
Yeah.
Like this feels weird to say. Like I'm looking at Ghosts and Goblins right now, and I'm thinking.
Hey, you
of
better
this in-
stop looking at that.
Well, no, listen. I'm saying I'm
look at
thinking
that.
of this in two separate ways. I appreciate how much easier and simpler and more friendly this game is to play than that. because that game, like, it's so frustrating, but at the same time, like, it's ghosts and goblins. How can you possibly put a game like this over such like a classic legendary arcade game, you know?
I think we've established we don't really care if something's a classic anymore.
That's very true.
Yeah. But like I like Wizard Fire more, so I'm kind of thinking like 17.
That's what I was thinking, dude. 17.
I
I can
like
see
it.
that. Yeah, I was around floating between 16 and 18 there. So yeah, if we followed the classic rule, Gauntlet would not be at 29, and half the people wouldn't hate us. So
So what? This is nice, easy, simple, straightforward ranking here. We're just gonna throw it right under Wizard Fire.
I like
Sure.
it.
yeah,
Alrighty, let's just lock it in right there. Then we got Wizard Fire at 16, Prop Cycle at 17, and Zybots at 18.
man. I was gonna say I think it's weird that like I'd usually at this point I'd be arguing with Jordan over something, but we're like cool.
You guys got to find something else to argue about now.
I know we got to fight about something, man. This ain't right.
Oh man. We'll think of something.
Maybe we'll fight over Jordan's trivia. Let's see what he's got for us.
I hope you don't have to fight over trivia. I hope you just answer the questions, but let's see what I got for you. All right, off and edge into trivia here. Sky, you're still leading the way. You got 56. Brad, you're in second at 46, and Kyle has 41. We're going to kick it off with question number 1. What is the name of the flying machine that your character uses? A cycle plane, B, a Laparopter, or C, a bike copter?
I know this one, so I will hold out.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say A.
Okay.
I'm gonna say B.
All right.
And it is B.
It is B, the Laparopter. I saw a little bit about what that was named after. Did you look into that, Brad? I kind of forget, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I forget. Helicopter and some other weird word. I don't know what it was.
It
Two
had
weird words.
something to do with like a theme, like a theme park, like an amusement park or something. Like is where like the Lapper part comes from, but I don't remember
Okay.
the whole detail. But also, this answer is in the game if you're kind of eagle-eyed and paying attention. So during the scene, whenever you're being slingshot into the sky, you'll actually see a billboard for Laparopter right below you.
Yeah, I did notice that as well.
But anyway, moving on to question number 2 then. To get a better feel for what the game's designer Shigeki Toyama wanted from the game, the development team went on a trip to do what? A. Cycling. B. Hang gliding. C. Riding helicopters.
Oh man, I would think hang gliding.
I'm gonna go with cycling. I feel like they probably tried to want to nail down like the physical motions of it, but I don't know. We'll go with that.
I want to say like I feel like it has to be hang gliding because like I don't know why you would need to go get experience on like just riding a bike. It's not like that intense. So I'm hoping it's hang gliding.
The correct answer is hang gliding. Yes, that's going to go to Sky and Kyle. Let me see. I think the idea was more or less just like obviously like the flying aspects and kind of just Toyama, I'll reiterate here, Toyama wanted or worked to allow players to experience the thrill of flying and feeling the wind to make the yada yada yada. So basically, yeah, they just wanted more so the idea of flying and feeling the wind and whatnot. I guess they went hang gliding, had some cameras attached to the glider's wings, probably just to give them something to look back on, give them a better idea of what they were doing. So correct answer is B, hang gliding.
There's a little fun fact. The creator actually rode a bike off a cliff to get the feeling. So
Did he put wings on it at least?
no, he's dead.
Oh, bummer, dude.
He's really dedicated to his vision.
Well, shoutouts to him. Appreciate him for what he did. But anyway, let's wrap it up with question number 3. What Studio Ghibli movie helped inspire Shigeki Toyama to create this game? A. Kiki's Delivery Service. B. Castle in the Sky. Or C. Whisper of the Heart.
Oh boy. The only one that even sounds familiar is Castle in the Sky. I mean, the islands are floating, so I'm going to go with that.
Is that your answer? Castle in the Sky, Sky?
Yeah, honestly, I never heard of the other two. I barely even heard of that one. That sounds right.
I haven't heard of any of them, but I'm gonna go with A.
Okay, Kiki's Delivery Service and Brad.
I'm gonna also go with Castle in the Sky.
Correct answer is A. Kiki's Delivery Service, where I believe
Really?
the character in the movie, I believe, is flying around on a broom. I kind of wanted to get you guys with that Castle in the Sky one, since with the whole idea of like the floating towns and islands. I was hoping
Yeah.
maybe that would trip you up a little bit, but
Oh, tricky.
It worked.
Correct answer is Kiki's Delivery Service. So today, Sky is getting 2 correct and going to 58. Kyle is going to get 2 correct as well, go to 43. Brad, you're going to get 1 and go to 47. And that will wrap up some Prop Cycle trivia.
Alrighty, that does it for Prop Cycle today. So our next game is going to be the Holiday Classic, Too Crude. Follow us on social media at Arcadiology. Send us questions or comments to arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com, or in the description of the podcast, there's a Google form. You can click on that and send us in questions or whatever you want. And we actually have some to read today. So we got one from Justin, aka Mame Fan. It's the guy that Jordan's new best friend that agrees with him about JJ Squawkers, it seems.
My dude.
And he says, I've done gameplay and playthroughs of nearly every game you guys have covered on my channel, and you're welcome to use any of my footage. You're about to do Ghosts and Goblins, and I have a 5.5 hour video of me struggling to beat that here. Well, first off, I want to say that our scheduling's a little ahead of when you guys actually hear this.
Yeah.
So if you hear us announce a game, we have already played it, so that's why it's a little out of sync with the questions and when we actually read it. So there's that.
Yeah, 5 hours is not enough time for Ghosts and Goblins. That game takes at least 15. So I'm impressed. But yeah, I would love for us to create like some little shorts and whatnot like we did before. I know, Brad, you were doing that at first for the first few games, but it kind of became like a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of cool to get some shorts made again. Maybe we could use some of his footage for them. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we definitely use it if we start making any videos and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
like you were saying, it was just by the time we record, or I set up notes, play the game, record, edit everything, do the social media, post everything, and it's like, man, it's already taken up so much time. For some reason, making those shorts was like dreadful. It's like, dude, I don't want to do this. This is the only part of the process where I'm like, I'd rather be doing anything else. This sucks. So I kind of just stopped doing it. we should, because it would help with, people finding it. Maybe they'll find funny clips or just find a game they like and come to the podcast. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to do that. So if one of you guys want to, I'll gladly help you out, set it up. But we'll keep that in mind. If we want to, though, we can use his clip. So that's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that offer, my man. Thank you.
And I got respect for anybody that beats Ghosts and Goblins. I don't care how
Oh,
long it takes you.
100%.
I don't care
Absolutely.
I don't care if it took you like 3 months. If you beat it, you need some respect.
You beat it.
Yeah.
Yep, you earned it.
Well, actually, I got a question for him. Since he's not a big JJ Squawkers fan, I want him to go back and try that again, and also play SD Gundam, another run and gun. And I want you, Justin, you tell me which game's better, because Jordan thinks SD Gundam's better, and I think there's not even a chance that that's close. So I want you to play them both back to back and tell us which game is better.
Anybody that wants to try it,
Yeah.
anybody that hears this, find these two games. Which one's better?
All right. Well, we actually have a second one here. This one is from Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry. That's a Rick and Morty reference, I believe. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Oh, there's also a football player that goes by that nickname.
Oh, really?
That was my first thought. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Could be either one then.
But it's probably more so yours.
Hard to
right,
say.
yeah.
But anyways, what he said is, if you could have one original arcade cabinet, what would it be? Not factoring in the cost or any resale value. I'd like to see if your answers change in the future as you discover more arcade games. For myself, I'd go with Smash TV. Such a great game. I hope you guys cover it someday. So first off, have you guys, any of you played or know of Smash TV?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it actually is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see it too much. I know the name.
Yeah, it's in our list. It's definitely a game we're going to cover. I haven't played it, but I have seen it. It looks pretty cool. It's like a twin stick game for an arcade. So that alone looks pretty interesting.
Like a shooter.
Yeah.
Oh, I like twin stick shooters.
We should do it soon for him.
We could. Yeah, I had it set as like one of our bigger games, like how we do. For anyone listening, it doesn't really understand. Every 5 episodes we do a bigger game, like like episode 30 we just did Street Fighter 2, and then our next big game will be like 35. Roughly, that's kind of what we do. So we'll definitely try to squeeze it in here at some point. We can do it before that though. It doesn't really have to be a strict rule.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, for the rest of the question, you guys have an arcade that you would like to have like in your house?
I'm just thinking. I'm actually just looking at our list, and I was thinking about the question. I'm gonna pull it from so far, like the 31 games that we have played. So like I'm gonna pick a game from one of those. So I'm thinking maybe the Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom, because that one can be multiplayer, correct?
Right. Yeah. I think 4-player.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because if it's 4 player, I remember that it was a good game, and I think it would be really cool to do it, to have it and be 4 players. Because like, I think there's a lot of replayability to that game. You could play it with like 2 people, 3, 4 people. People could like use different characters next time they want to play it. So some of these other games are like, I mean, maybe they're like kind of better, arguably, but then like some of them are only 1 player, and it's like, I mean, how fun is it really going to be if you just have the arcade in your house and play it by yourself?
Yeah.
So I think having a multiplayer game that you can play with friends and then also has like replayability where you can like, you know what I mean, like different, you could play it a couple different times and like actually be different characters and use different weapons and stuff. So I think that's my pick.
It's also a game that anyone can kind of hop in and understand. Like some of these games, like if you would do Ghosts and Goblins, like no one's, unless someone loves that game or has played it a lot, they're gonna hop in and be like, all right, I can't get past this first guy, I'm out. But yeah, something like Dungeons and Dragons, you can just keep on pumping in coins and going. That's a good pick.
I mean, I think a pretty good answer for this question would honestly be this game we did today, Prop Cycle, just because we don't have that peripheral to use. So it'd be really cool to have that bike. But I mean, I'm gonna give a really, really typical answer here that I'm sure a lot of people will expect. But like, I have a reasoning for it.
I knew it was coming.
I have reasoning for it. So even if you look past just the fact that like I grew up playing on the actual Turtles arcade cabinet forever, like a million times, like I can't tell you how many times I played it, and then they destroyed it on us, and it's gone forever. But the main reason I would say that is because, as we've said before, Brad and I, we both actually own arcade cabinets. Now, mine, it's got all these games on it, great, but for the life of me, maybe Brad can help me mess with settings, I don't know. I cannot find any way to make my version of Turtles on my arcade cabinet 4 players. It's just stuck to either 1 or 2, and I cannot find a way around that. So I want the original cabinet, so then I can go back to having the 4-player game with my 3 friends that I played this game with all the time back in the day, and we can just gather around it and relive that again. Because honestly, that was like one of the absolute main reasons I bought this arcade cabinet, was so we could play Turtles again since they destroyed it. But unfortunately, that 4-player dream has yet to come to fruition.
There's got to be a way. Mine was the same way. I know mine's set up a little different than yours. Mine's using just like an actual PC in it. I think yours using a Raspberry Pi, maybe?
Yeah, it's got a little Raspberry Pi in it.
Okay, yeah, there might be a way, but yeah, I can go into the settings, and there's like, I don't know, some games have like 10, 15 different versions, and you can kind of just switch them. And some of them are set up for 2-player or 4-player and stuff like that. So we'll have to mess with that and see. But yeah, that's definitely a nostalgic pick there for you, huh, with Turtles.
Yep. Oh yeah, big time.
For me, it's tough. Selfishly, I'd want to say JJ Squawkers because it's one of my favorite arcade games we played. But that's not a good 2-player game. I think Sky, was that me and you that played that a little bit 2-player? It was kind of.
I think so. Yeah, I want to say that was us.
Kind of suck 2-player compared to 1-player because you can't just have the pace at your own. You got to kind of move at their speed.
Kind of the same deal with Outzone. Like you just get in the way when there's 2 players.
Yeah,
that actively made it worse.
For sure. The game I'd actually go with, I think, is Mazinger Z, because the arcade itself looks pretty sick. Like I looked up pictures of it and stuff. I always do whenever we upload our episode. But it has like full art on both sides of it. It has like, like the giant robot looking thing, and then in the front of it, like where the panel's at and the whole way out, like around the screen, all has like pretty awesome art on it. And I ended up really liking that game when we played it, and I think that would be a fun one for 1 or 2-player. Just shoot them up pretty. If you're not like trying to go crazy for scores, keep pumping coins in and continue, and anyone's gonna have fun just shooting through. And you have to pick the different characters. They have different charge attacks and different power ups. So I think that would definitely be a fun one. And if I had it like that, maybe I'd try to get better, and eventually, if you own like a single one like that, you're probably gonna try to 1cc it. You know what I mean? Just keep on grinding it till you get better at it. Yeah, that's what I'd go with, probably Mazinger.
That's a good case to make of like how awesome the cabinet itself would look too, like the original artwork and all that stuff they have on it.
Yeah, because like me and Jordan, we already have like a full sets of arcade emulation on our arcade, so it's like if I'm getting it just for gameplay, I can use any game. So I want something that's gonna look cool too.
Man, there's a couple I'm I was looking at. Like at first, I was thinking like Outzone, but then again, I would just play that one player because the two players, it wasn't as fun with both of us.
Nah,
We were
yeah.
we were getting each other killed more than like the enemies were. So
Just in the way.
I mean, D&D. Kyle made a good case for that one. Like that might be one of the best ones here, especially like 4 players.
Yeah.
That might be one of the funnest ones to play. Same with Turtles, like Jordan said. Like I know we rag on him a little bit about Turtles, but that game is fun 4 players. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't have the greatest time with like I get bored of stuff like that kind of fast, but Turtles is definitely a good pick for that. Oh man, I don't know the my competitive side wants Ghosts and Goblins just for a challenge. Taking all that into account, I think I'm gonna pick Alien Syndrome
I was wondering if you're gonna do that. That's what I was thinking.
Ugh.
because that's kind of for me. Like you can play that 2 players. I don't think it's terrible 2 players. It might be a little more challenging. I'm not sure, but it's awesome for single player. I love that game. And if you look up the arcade cabinet, it has this cool little thing at the top. It has like the original one has like a little alien head thingy on top. I don't know what you call them, like a top. Maybe they just call them
Oh
toppers.
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
look up a picture of the original Alien Syndrome cabinet and look how cool that thing looks.
Yeah, that thing looks awesome.
So I think I would go with Alien Syndrome for my pick on that.
That's a good one. That was a game you went crazy on. The arcade
Ah,
looks
yeah.
awesome. It's pretty
Sure
fun 2
did.
players. That's an all around pretty solid pick.
Now, I do think an honorable mention would maybe be Street Fighter 2, just because you could settle a lot of beef with that game. Anytime you're beefing, dude, there's nothing settles beef like a 1v1, you know?
No, bro, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. That game creates beef.
I don't know,
Oh,
man.
man.
I think you got an argument.
Bro.
You just 1v1 me, dude.
Bro, that night you kept kicking everybody with Chun-Li. You were creating all kinds of beef.
We were
Well,
cool
I mean, it
before
could
that.
be used for.
we were all cool with you before you started kicking us. After that, we're like, get this guy out of here.
It can be used for good or evil, honestly.
Fair enough.
You
Oh,
can start
man.
beef or settle it, dude.
Just depends how you're feeling that day. If you want to start a fight, play some Street Fighter and hate whoever you're playing with.
Yeah.
I have one more like really out of the box kind of answer. It's very different than what we're. It's not like the point of the question, but it is still something you would see in an arcade. And this is very much something I want in my house someday. I've even like looked at like Marketplace to find one that's like the right size and the right price and everything. Someday, so badly, I just want a claw machine in my house, dude.
Yeah, that'd
I
be cool.
cool.
love claw machines. Let me tell you, you will be hard pressed to find someone who is better at claw machines than me. I have literal trash bags like up in my attic full of stuffed animals that I just won from claw machines. There was one time I went there and I cleaned the machine out in like 20 minutes, man. I love those things, and I don't even know what to do with all the stuffed animals I have now. Like I've donated a lot of them, but I still have a lot left. If I ever actually bought a claw machine to put in my house, I could have something to do with them then. I'll just put them all in the machine and play it myself, let other people
Dude.
play it.
That would be cool to have a claw machine, and everything inside of it is the things that you've won
That
out of
I've won.
claw machines.
Yes,
Just make your
I
own.
know.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
I want to do it so bad someday.
I'm just picturing Jordan standing in the arcade with a trash bag full of stuffed animals. There's a little 5-year-old standing beside him, just like crying, dude. There's nothing left.
Tough break, kid. Welcome to the real world. He just takes all the stuffed animals.
In the mall, so you guys know we have that Tilt Studio. It's like a really big arcade, and that thing has 8 million claw machines in it. And I used to work at the Rue 21 that was like right beside Tilt, and there were definitely multiple times where I'd have to like go into work. Even if I was like on my break or something, I'd go to Tilt, or if I was just in the mall, I'd stop in at work and I'd have to like ask them for a big bag to go back and carry some of the stuff around that I got.
Got your Santa sack full of stuffed animals.
Absolutely, man.
I actually heard. Do you guys know like the claw machines? You know the claw itself. Do you guys know the actual like official name for the claw? Like it's not just called a claw.
It's the claw.
No.
Is that it?
They call it. It's called the Jordan's hand.
Oh, I knew we were
yeah,
going
yeah.
somewhere stupid with this.
So yeah, I think that's where they got it.
Yeah, man. Someday I got to get one.
All right, that wraps up all of our questions for today. Like we said, if anyone wants to write in questions, email them arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com or use the form in the description. And that's it for today, guys. Let's get out of here.
Later, dudes.
Goodbye, my friends.
Do your best, little buddy.
Do your best. That's all you can do.